Hey, I'm YouTube and welcome back to a new video with Rams Fan YT. In today's video, we are going down to the second tier of English football in the form of a championship and looking at their best summer transfer window signings. Means lots of action as usual in the summer, completely new squads, but I've had to whittle down one player who I think is the best for their signing this window. We're going to start with Birmingham City, and I'm going with Deon Sanderson. He was voted the Young Player of the Season in 2020-21, and that only partially tells you just how popular a figure he was at Sunderland. And last season, he was relatively popular on loan with the Blues as well. He was described last season as being a classy presence on the right side of a back three, and showed maturity well beyond his years. He is quick, which means he has played at right back in the past. However, from what we saw last season, his long-term future is almost certainly at the heart of defence. He's athletic and distributes the ball very well. He's your typical modern centre-back, if you will. And his composure on the ball is an asset, and he rarely gives it away when stepping out from the back. He has real pace too, which can help his side play a little higher up the pitch. Blackburn Rovers Leopold Waldstedt. Leopold Waldstedt is a goalkeeper who burst onto the scene in the 2021 season for the Norwegian club Odd. At the time, he was earmarked as the one to watch ahead of a 2022 campaign, and he didn't disappoint. His biggest strength is fantastic reflexes, and he can prevent goals that look almost certain to hit the back of the net. He has saved 4 out of the 10 of the career penalties he's faced, which is an excellent record. And this is a keeper known for saving impossible situations, and is quite simply a brilliant shot stopper. Some highlights from him in the 2022 season with a 1-0 win versus Vålerenga. In that game, he had an expected goals conceded of 1.83. Yet he kept a clean sheet thanks to a massive 10 saves. In a total of 18 league matches last season, he conceded fewer goals than his actual expected goals conceded, and he was quite clearly the player of the match in several instances. Waldstedt did not concede a single goal from an immediate set-piece situation in the last calendar year, and he was also very good at facing crosses, resulting in just 1 goal when leaving the line. His distribution has been impressive, with 100% accuracy from all goal kicks in his own third, nearly 88% accuracy to the central third, and 69% accuracy to the final third. The system at Oddvo has generally required him making more shorter passes, with just 14% of his goal kicks going long. From open play, that figure did increase, with 30% of his attempted passes over 40 metres long. Bristol City Derby legend Jason Knight. Oh, how I miss him. But Knight can play several positions for Bristol. He usually plays as a left or right-sided attacking midfielder in a 4-2-3-1 to help link the play. But he can also play as a wide midfielder in a 4-1-1 or a 4-3-3. Knight's transitional awareness is impressive, and he does great in both defensive transition and offensive transition. In switching from defending to attacking, he will break out fast to the front line. Even if he marks his matchup deep to his own third, he will boost up and run to the front line, with on average 2 progressive runs in attacking transitions per match. Apart from switching from defending to attacking, he does great in switching from attacking to defending too. His sharp anticipation of a defensive transition always helps his team to delay, prevent forward progression, and get the ball back. Knight is not one of those playmakers, and he doesn't provide a lot of creative passes, and on average he has an average of 28.15 passes per match, with an accuracy of 79.85%. However, his passes are mostly one touch, and he recognises the situation and makes the best decision given that situation. He plays it quick and simple, and always tries to pass to get to his teammates in a better position for the next action. As you can see, Knight holds up the defender very well, and it was when it is congested in the right flank area, and there's a huge space in the middle. Knight can hold the ball up, draw 2 defenders towards him by not even touching the ball, and then push back as well when the defenders crowd in. There's always more time and space, you see, for his teammates to execute. The defenders can't even get close enough. Knight then touches the ball with and a one-touch pass is the ball into space. And if his teammate had more time and space, therefore, in the zone to handle the ball. That's an example, sorry, which isn't really great without images. But despite being an attacking player, Knight has contributed a lot in defending. He has, on average, 6.2 in recovery and 3.7 in recovery in the opponent's half per 90 minutes. What's more, he has also had 3.92 interceptions per game, and his defending attitude and hard work have earned a lot of possession for his team. In general, as a wing attacking midfielder, he marks his opponent's fullback, and he is great in this aspect. His marking will usually get the opponent's fullback stroke wingback out of the picture. Apart from his marking skills, he also does well in recovery. He is willing to track back in the deep area and out of his zone to help regain possession for his team. Those recovery runs are quite effective and well timed in getting possession back. Cardiff City, Manolis Siopis. The Greece international, aged 29, has fleetness in his feet, particularly in defence, and as a busy working engine, therefore offloading pressure on defence. The diminutive midfielder looks comfortable with his ball at his feet, driving the ball away from his own goal and therefore opening up the game. His calmness on the ball, his passing game, and his defensive work is really strong. Both with and without the ball, he has showcased his ability, and he can make meters with the ball. Defensively, he will be able to keep his team calm on the ball. And given Cardiff typically play a 4-2-3-1, he will probably occupy one of the double pivot roles at the base of the midfield, tasked with breaking up play and allowing for the more attack-minded players to do the damage further up the pitch. But that is the player's bread and butter, to be fair. The reason he has so little goals throughout his career is because he operates far away from the opponent's goal, and he is highly specialised in cutting out opponents' attacks. He gives the ball he wins to his teammates, and Siopis is a very energetic defensive midfielder. He's very talented in winning the ball and adding tempo to the game. He'll add great energy to the middle of the pitch for Cardiff. Having won the Super League and the Super Cup with Trabzonspor, his winning mentality could transform the mindset of the players who have been in a relegation scrap last season and could turn their fortunes around. Coventry City, Haji Wright. Wright was one of the top scorers in the 2021-22 Turkish Super League and continued his form last season, scoring 15 goals in 28 appearances in the same league. At 6 foot 2 inches, Wright is effective in the air and holds the ball up well. Huddersfield Town, Chris Maxwell. The athletic shot stopper was instrumental in Blackpool's promotion in 2021-22 and was rewarded for his outstanding form by winning the League One Golden Glove. Maxwell kept an impressive 21 clean sheets in 43 games in League One, giving him a nearly 50% clean sheet rate after that stunning season between the sticks for the Seasiders. He only conceded 37 goals that campaign, with no goalkeeper in England's top 4 leagues and as many shutouts as Maxwell did in 2021, with a star keeping 14 clean sheets. He carries both the job as keeper and captain incredibly well. He demands respect and has high standards that rubs off on the team. An experienced promotion on 3 separate occasions as well. He's got that really good winning mentality. He's performed well in penalties and he's very good at anticipating where players are going and where they are going to put the ball. You always fancy him to save a penalty. And he made 3 great saves to get Blackpool promoted in that penalty shootout. Hull City, Jayden Philogene. He used to play in either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 and had enough versatility at his young age to play on both flanks. He constantly causes problems in the opposition's box, and most of his former coaches have said that Jayden plays football on the field like he's playing on the streets with his friends, and hence it's no wonder they always pushed him to play with older boys his age. Mainly playing in the wide left position, he has also many times deployed on the right side with little to no difference in his playing style. A player who has a natural talent for keeping possession, Philogene's pace, agility, and dribbling abilities make him good enough to play for any Premier League club. Jayden has a powerful shot, and his ball skills with both feet, left and right, will give any defender a headache. He has been blessed with some scintillating raw pace and has a knack for providing the final ball, making runs, positioning himself for rebounds, and playing some beautiful one-touch football. He has played as a right midfielder in a 4-4-1-1 formation and is very composed defensively in a much deeper role. I'll be 2 minutes. On to Ipswich Town, Jack Taylor. Taylor is a central midfielder who can play in both defensive and advanced roles and has the ability to be comfortable on the ball. The midfielder last season averaged 1.8 tackles per match in League One, and the 25-year-old isn't afraid of a tackle and loves to show his ability to win the ball back when his team doesn't have it. The midfielder also averaged 1.3 key passes per match in the league, a sign of a player's creativity, as he is someone who looks to play the perfect pass in the final third of the pitch. Last season, where he was an ever-present, Taylor has averaged a solid WhoScored.com rating of 7.16. The midfielder has showed his importance in Peterborough's midfield, and hence why Ipswich have signed him. Leeds United, Joel Piroe. Joel Piroe has notched 39 goals over the last 2 seasons of second-tier football, beginning his career as a left-sided defender, and the striker provides a defensive anchor in the forward line in equal measure as he does attacking prowess. At under 12s, Piroe moved up the pitch and into the forward line, where he showed that natural finishing ability in the defensive areas. When in the Eerste Divisie, his natural finishing touch and knack of connecting with pullback shots from the byline meant he showed those glimpses of a top-level striker. Despite possessing smart footwork and all the finishing traits necessary to elevate himself, he couldn't reach PSV's first team. When he moved to Swansea, he hit the ground running in only the second appearance at the club, having a header back across goal that nestled into the back of the net, which meant that the Swans grabbed a consolation in a 3-1 home defeat to Stoke City. 3 goals in his first 3 games meant his time at the Swansea City Stadium had got off to a flying start, with fans of the South Wales club heralding a new hero. Throughout the season, they became more accustomed to his close control and composure when in pressurised potential goal-scoring situations, a trait that had been most associated with him in runs along the defensive line, with players finding him with an acute through balls when gaps could be breached. Finishing the 2021-22 season on 22 goals, there was a feeling among supporters and onlookers that perhaps in a side more direct in their attacking play, or better still, had more creative players surrounding him, he may have gone on to match those higher up in the second-tier scoring ranks. So I fully expect him in that sort of system in Leeds to well do so. Martin's outfit had the highest average possession during the season, accumulating 63.9% on the ball per game. And as admirable as that is, perhaps it's to increase their scoring rate, including Piroe's, they could have done with a bit more cutthroat in attack, whilst also keeping the ball and dominating games, which I think will be the case with Leeds from what I've seen so far this season. Definitely so. Leicester City, Harry Winks. Winks plays as a central or defensive midfielder, and Tottenham Hotspur manager Mauricio Pochettino has said, when we talk about midfielders, because you like to use Spanish midfielders like Xavi and Iniesta, he's like that type of player, describing Winks as a completely different to the other midfielders they had at the club at the time of Victor Wanyama, Eric Dyer, Moussa Dembele, and Moussa Sissoko. He has then qualities to add to the team that are completely different. TalkSport, for example, remarked that following his breakthrough for club and country, Winks was seen as a potential difference maker for the three lines due to his very individual skill set, with Winks earning comparisons with foreign midfielders rather than his English contemporaries. Ex-England and Spurs midfielder Danny Murphy said in September 2018 that the England team should be built around Winks, citing his performance for Tottenham against Real Madrid in the 2017-18 UEFA Champions League group stage as evidence. He said, and I quote here, "The one who I think has got the capability more than anyone else I've seen is Winks. What he showed in that game in Madrid, in both games when he was fit and at it, was a confidence and ability to play, to see the passes, to get his foot in, and be disciplined, and mix that mix in midfield talent that you need for me. Winks is one of the best I've seen when he's at it, in terms of his all-round ability." ESPN FC's Ben Pearce opined in 2018 that England are still missing a deep line playmaker, and those wondering who could possibly fill this void have obviously forgotten Winks, who excels at keeping possession with quick and short passes. So, not just a joke that people use about, bit of a forgotten talent, really. Middlesbrough, Emmanuel Latte-Laff. A pacey, attacking, athletic forward, Latte-Laff will give Borough an extra dimension in the final third. His speed could allow Middlesbrough to mix up their play and go more direct at times. Latte-Laff is a versatile attacker and he can be utilised across the front line, but is more often used centrally to maximise his goal-scoring capabilities. His arrival bolsters a forward line that has looked short of firepower, having scored a total of 14 league goals in 31 appearances for St Gallen last season. Millwall, Casper De Norre. He has played Champions League football for Genk, as well as representing Belgium at under 21 level, and he just has that real energy about him. He's a midfielder who can drop and build possession. He's technically good enough to go and link play forward and bring forward players into the game early. He's also a player who can break the game up, go and press, close people down, and covers distance well. He's an intelligent player. He understands the game, when to sit and create some balance, and when to get forward and step into space. He's an all-round midfielder, and he has shown the ability to get into the box and score goals. He's also shown the ability to get the ball off the back players and build possession. He was also the captain at Leuven, so he's got those leadership qualities they are looking at. It is a great age for him to take this step into English football, really. And he looks like a player who could be really, really suited to the Championship. When you watch him more, you see a lot of his other qualities. Mobility is a big thing in today's game, and he'll bring that to the team, but also the fact he is equally comfortable dropping deeper and playing as well as stepping forward. They're always looking for the flexibility. Norwich City, Christian Fasnacht. 29 years old, 19 caps for Switzerland, 6'1", and get this, 104 goals in 345 games, which is a goal every 3.3 games. Not bad for a bloke who has played most of his career as a midfielder. He won 5 titles with BSC Young Boys. And in terms of what type of player he is right-footed, but in a world of inverted wingers, looks to have played most of his career as a right-sided midfielder stroke winger. Although he has also played centrally and even as a striker when called upon. He doesn't necessarily do humdingers from distance, but instead gets a lot of his goals from in and around the 6-yard box via some very nicely timed late runs into the box. Plymouth Argyle, Morgan Whittaker. Another former Derby player here, and the striker has been described as versatile, who can chip in with goals and assists, while his energy levels have also been praised. Having the ability is one thing, but it is really his attitude that's going to take him to the top. He's predominantly a winger and is capable of playing on either flank or as a second striker. Whittaker has featured in a more central number 10 role, but is more comfortable on the wing, and naturally left-footed, he's technically gifted and enjoys cutting in from the right-hand side. Preston North End, Milutin Osmajic. Milutin Osmajic features as a centre-forward and played 31 matches in Liga Portugal in 2022-23. It can be observed that Osmajic has performed well in the attacking and possession departments with respect to metrics like expected goal contribution, progressive passes, shots, and dangerous passes. He also contributes to defence with his ability to contest aerial duels and win them. From his heat map, it can be observed that Milutin Osmajic shows high intensity in the final and middle thirds and remains active inside the opposition's penalty box. He makes a lot of movement in the opposition's half, more towards the left side, but also tracks back into his own half when required. Osmajic contests 21.43 duels per match and wins 31.6%, of which 6.11 are offensive duels. On average, he receives around 10 passes and has 2.83 touches in the penalty area. Milutin Osmajic was Vizela's top scorer last season, netting 8 goals out of the 34 scored by his team. He has taken 31 shots last season and accumulated a total of 6.59 expected goals, with a 0.21 expected goal value for each shot. The shot map shows that most of his attempts came from the centre of the penalty area and in and around the 6-yard box. He's also shown the capability of shooting accurately from distance. He averages 2.04 shots per 90 minutes in Liga Portugal with an accuracy rate of 45.2%. Osmandic's tall stature and physicality help him to contest in aerial duels, particularly inside the opposition box. He averages as many as 8.74 aerial duels with a 33.1 success rate. Percent that is. But centre forward also helps keep his team by drawing fouls in the attacking third. He has been fouled 18 times by the opposition inside their half and has also won one penalty. Effective free kick deliveries from the final third can prove effective in creating scoring opportunities, and on average, Osmandžić suffers 1.18 fouls per match. In addition to his attacking prowess, the 24-year-old drops into midfield to play short passes and link up plays. Osmandic's overall passing gameplay has room for improvement as he attempts a low number of 12.5 passes per match with 73.7% accuracy. Of these passes, 2.16 are in the forward direction and nearly 3 are directed backwards. He brings a huge counter-attacking threat. Milutin Osmandžić is a mobile forward who performs dribbles and progressive runs to stretch opposition lines and burst forward. The striker attempts the majority of the dribbles in the final third and executes these actions with success in and around the penalty area. He also tries a few dribbles inside his half to beat opposing lines and advance forwards. Along with some progressive runs in towards the opposition box, with currently averaging 1.97 dribbles with a 46.7 success rate and nearly 1.38 progressive runs per match. In conclusion, Milutin Osmandžić has proven his significance for Vizela in last season's Liga Portugal campaign, and he netted crucial goals for the team, which have helped him rise into the mid-table position. Besides, he helps his team with his attributes on and off the ball. Queen's Park Rangers Asmir Begovic. In his 45 appearances, or 47 if including the playoffs, with Bournemouth last time he was in the Championship, the Bosnian shot stopper ranked amongst the best Championship goalkeepers who played 25 matches or more. During the 2020-21 season, he was part of Bournemouth's defence, who kept 15 clean sheets, conceded 0.98 goals per 90, which is 5th in the league that year, faced 157 shots, which was the 4th highest amount, and made the second most saves at 118, and had the 3rd highest save percentage at 74.5%. Obviously, we can't narrow it down to stats, but that season he was arguably the best keeper in the league. He prefers to keep goal kicks short and also stops crosses well. Begovic is markedly a tranquil presence in the box, which by no means is a bad thing. Assured between the sticks, you could argue that Begovic focuses on the cure rather than prevention when it comes to style. He sweeps rarely, rather focusing on good positioning to make saves. It must be said that Begovic's positioning is really quite impressive and helps him tenfold when making saves. I would argue that 1v1s are the technical area in which Begovic really excels. Begovic most definitely isn't a camera goalkeeper. He is effective and efficient with a huge 6'5" frame aiding his cause. An emerging goalkeeper in dispute really is whether height may be beginning to hinder goalkeepers more than help them, especially when it comes to low shots. However, I would argue Begovic isn't an unathletic goalkeeper by any means, and has proven that throughout his career. I also think that argument is stupid as well. Rotherham United Sam Nombe. He has pace and power, but notably over the last few seasons has had a really good goal-scoring record. In his promotion season to League One, he scored 8 goals, and then last season he took to like a duck to water, so much you couldn't tell he went up a league, having scored 15 goals in a decent campaign for the Grecians. He's a good character, and I think he will take to Rotherham's style of play very well. Sheffield Wednesday Jedi Gassama. Gassama can play on the ball, but he is at his explosive best, playing predominantly as an off-the-ball player. He is exceptionally good at finding himself in wide open spaces out on the left and playing with teammates with good vision. He can exploit those spaces with his direct running, both with and without the ball. There's a little bit of a Monaco-era Kylian Mbappe about him, if you will. He can dribble and play with the ball, sure, but he is devastating at penalty area player from the left side of a box, where he can cut onto his favoured right foot. Jedi Gassama is a direct wide forward, and that has an excellent straight line speed. He is adept at finding dangerous spaces off the left wing, driving into them with intensity to pose a threat at goal. Southampton, Shay Charles. A combative defensive midfielder who likes to put in a tackle. Shay Charles is a bit of a throwback in terms of playing styles. However, he has shown sparkling improvement in his range of passing and vision last season. He is capable of playing progressive passes from deep when the situation demands, but he is in his element when breaking up opposition moves, either with quick tackles or smart interceptions. A younger Casemiro in playing style, if you will. Furthermore, Charles' versatility has allowed his managers to use him in a variety of roles. Stints at centre back and right back have given him a more rounded skill set. Charles has an inherent leadership and skill which helps him rally the team. Combined with his ability and personality, Southampton have a potential captain on their hands. Stoke City, Wouter Berger. Oh, yes, please. I would like a burger. What about you? Sorry. It was a poor joke with cheese on. Berger can occupy a number of roles in the midfield, as he possesses admirable qualities both on and off the pitch. The Dutchman's key strengths are his eye for a pass, his pressing, and his awareness. He knows when to join the attack and arrive into the penalty area, and when to retreat and contribute defensively. He's also registered a decent shot per 90 at 1.5, and despite his ability to join attack, Berger has managed 3.5 tackles or interceptions per 90, and he has a pass accuracy of 76%, which is very good considering he often opts for the most audacious ball possible. Sunderland, Nazari Rusin. Firstly, it should be made clear that Rusin is not a target man. He's more of a dynamic attacking player that can operate on either wing or as a traditional number 9. He's more intricate and relies on his movement and ball carrying to beat defenders rather than his sheer physicality. The 2 data points that immediately catch the eye are his dribbles per 90 and his touches within the opposition box per 90, both ranked in the top 5% for forwards within the second, third, and fourth tier of the Ukrainian football. His shots per 90 also ranks within the top 10% of players, demonstrating that Rusin is able to carry the ball well into the final third, but is also happy to pull the trigger whenever he gets the opportunity to do so. Given Sunderland's current offensive shyness, the ability to have a player who's not afraid of letting shots off can only be seen as a great positive moving forward. His true strength comes in his dynamism and ability to use clever and creative movement to generate opportunities for himself in the final third. In terms of shooting ability, the vast majority of Rusin's shots occurred inside the 18-yard box, and most of his 14 goals scored last season came from the shots into the bottom corners of the opposition's goal. This shows he's got a very clear eye for the back of the net and demonstrates his composure when staring down the goalkeeper. Where Rusin excels the most is attacking into space and on the transition, something that suits Sunderland's style of play when looking to move the ball fast and with pace. In addition to his ability to break up with speed, Rusin has also demonstrated many progressive carries and passes to help advance the ball into the final third as quickly as possible. Another area of Rusin's game that Sunderland have paid close attention to is his ability to regain possession quickly. In terms of his repossessions last season, he came out with a strong percentage coming from counter-pressing, something that Sunderland have made a key part of their skill set when switching to a more possession-based style of play this season. On the whole, Rusin is a dynamic forward that offers Sunderland versatility across the third line, the whole of the front line that is, and comes into the team capable of playing multiple positions. Swansea City, Jerry Yates. The English striker has performed mainly as a striker, but is fairly versatile. He has also played in left and right wing positions. During the 2022-23 EFL Championship FA Cup campaign, don't think he made appearance in the EFL Cup, Yates scored 15 goals and achieved 6 assists, a great attacking return. Stylistically, the player is not considered to be the most creative or explosive of strikers when compared to other forwards in similar leagues. Instead, Yates is reported to offer an exceptional quantity and quality of interceptions, within the 97th percentile of forwards. This means the player is perfect for a high-pressing team looking to win the ball high up the field. Furthermore, the English forward offers strength, hold-up play, and enough pace to beat a back line. Watford Mileta Rajovic, a natural goal scorer with the imposing physical presence to match his finishing ability. The 24-year-old climbed the footballing ranks in his native Denmark, notably notching 13 goals in 58 matches for Næstved Bold Club, before moving for a club record fee to Kalmar, scoring in this season's UEFA Europa Conference League this summer. When you look at his stature, it really suits both the Championship and the Premier League. He likes the ball in the box, and he's good as a target as well, so you can put it in the air, and he's strong there too. He's good with both feet when it comes to finishing as well. West Bromwich Albion Josh Maja. His 2019-20 campaign bore fruit in more ways than one, with more frequent appearance, even if his starts had been sporadic that season. In 2019-20, he averaged a goal involvement every 81 minutes after joining from a third-tier side is no small feat. To do it without a succession of starts is even more impressive. 8 goals in 8 starts is an encouraging return for any foreign player operating in their first campaign in the top 5 league. What has made Maja so successful in such little time, in a combination of his innate striker's ability and a set of impressive technical and physical attributes, is that the Nigerian international is playing at a required standard of the top level, which should not be ignored. In fact, Maja is like Mbappe in regards that he has the tendency to play on the shoulder of an opposition defender. For someone who plays on the final line of defence, he actually rarely strays offside. Maja averages 0.5 offsides per 90 minutes for Bordeaux back in the 2019-20 season, which equates to just 1 instance every other game. His spatial awareness and game knowledge is good too. His spatial awareness enables him to make great passes. At the Stadium of Light, Maja was heralded for taking chance after chance. Maja's 8 goals and 8 starts in 2019-20 suggests he had only improved in that regard, especially considering he was playing at a high level. His non-penalty goals per 90 figure stands at 0.74 during that season, which was enough to place him in the 96th percentile of all strikers across Europe's top 5 leagues. Those expected goals figures suggest he is overperforming to some extent. Nonetheless, extrapolating 0.5 non-penalty expected goals per 90 over the course of the season would theoretically deliver 17 goals, a figure which batters 4 in 5 top-level strikers that season. Maja's high expected goals output can largely be credited to his intelligent penalty box movement. It might be an old cliche, but he does create his own chances by positioning himself in dangerous areas. That innate striker's instinct, knowing where loose balls will drop, remaining alert and conscious of where markers are, make Maja a lurking threat, often eluding his marker, and time and again he finds pockets of space. The characteristics outlined above suggest Maja is a poacher, a type of player's influence in proceedings wanes the further away from the opposition's goal he is. With despite most of Maja's successful finishes coming within 12 yards from goal, this is not quite true for the Nigerian. Statistically speaking, his expected assist value of 0.15 per 90 places him in the top quarter of forwards in Europe's top 5 leagues for creativity. His 0.25 assists per 90 indicates he is once again slightly overperforming in this regard. Again, more than likely due to a small sample size of 725 league minutes during that 2019-20 campaign. His creativity has been something to note, and an area of the game which seems to have been developed since leaving Sunderland. In England, Maja was adept at receiving the ball on return, mainly on the edge of the box. By dropping into deep areas at Bordeaux, he utilised that for the benefit of counter-attacking phases. Maja's willingness to drop into less congested areas to receive the ball shows development, but also a further example of his manipulation of space. He's very good at doing that in the penalty area, but it is an entirely different entity to identify space between defensive and midfield lines and build-up. Strengthening this trait would make him an effective influence as a second striker. A combination of ability to turn sharply while keeping the ball under control and awareness of vulnerable spaces is an exciting proposition and continues to develop of late. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you're new around here. That will be hugely appreciated. I'll be doing League One soon. Just looking at the comments here by Mr. Luke. Just seen that Chelsea fullback Reece James has signed for Wigan Athletic on loan for the rest of the season. Thought that is a very decent signing. That is an incredibly decent signing for Wigan in the current predicament they're in, having points deduction. I think Reece James could be a heck of a good signing. I know he performed well in previous campaigns. The other one, cannot believe it, but Hull City are set to sign Harry Maguire in a deal worth £2.5 million. I think that's nonsense. I'm going to say that now because they signed him from, I think it was from Hull originally, wasn't it? For like 70-something million pounds. They're not going to sell him for 2.5 million. I know he's coming up towards the end of his contract, but even so, I can't quite see him leaving for that little fee, especially seeing Hull City have got fairly deep pockets with their new owners. They'll probably more be holding out towards, if he is to move, I would say 5 to 10 mil, I would reckon. I reckon there's some teams out there in Europe as well, which are probably after him as well. Some teams in Serie A or Bundesliga. But thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you're new around here. I'll be hugely appreciated. We'll be doing the League One transfers. So Reece James may be on that list. We'll see. And the history of your club will be coming shortly once I have arranged a suitable time for me to do that. But goodbye for now.